Hi, I'm Zoya Akhtar, and along with Rima Karthi, I'm the co-founder of Tiger Baby Films. I'm also the director of the Archies.
And I'm John Goldwater, CEO of Archie Comics. Archie's been a global icon for many years. Well, Archie Comics is a group of iconic characters that were created in 1941. They live in the town of Riverdale. I've been enamored to do something in India for many, many years. And then my good friend, Sharad, mentioned to me that he had spoken to you about doing an Archies movie. And when he mentioned that it was you who was interested, I immediately said, oh my God, we have to try to make this happen. And then of course the confluence of you and being with the best streaming company in the world in Netflix seemed like a no-brainer for the Archies.
I have to say it's such a pleasure and an absolute honor to be asked to make the Indian adaptation for this very iconic comic. It's a huge part of my childhood. I've grown up reading it. And it's very exciting to be able to take the characters and introduce them to a new generation, and at the same time keep that nostalgia and the essence of the comic alive for people like me that grew up on it. We've set it in the Anglo-Indian community of India, and it's in a magical, fictional hill station town in our country, and I mean, town's called Riverdale. It's fictional.
And I should mention that the film is set in the 1960s, and there's a lot of friendship and love and conflict and community, and the music. Music is such a big part of Archie's heritage throughout the decades. The 60s for Archie were also such an important part as we transitioned from what Archie was to where Archie kind of is now. The 60s were the gateway between the old Archie and the new Archie.
Sorry we couldn't be there to take you through the Archie showcase, but someone very special and very integral to this project is going to do that for us. Meet Ankur Tiwari, the music supervisor. He's here to give you a glimpse in the world of the Archies. Take it away, Ankur.
Music supervisor of Archies, and it's a great honor to be working on the film. I'm feeling really lonely on stage, so I'll invite Manish.
क्या बात है यार अंकुर, we all are very very excited. Firstly, welcome. एक बार जोरदार तालियां थोड़ी बजती रही हो. Everybody feeling good. अंकुर, यार मैं चाहूँगा प्लीज आप जरा यहाँ पे आइए. साइकिल के साथ खड़े होकर मुझे बात करना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. कह रहा हूँ एंगल बना होता है ना, हमें काटना पड़ता है.
Netflix की साइकिल.
यार Netflix की साइकिल है. यार मुझे एक बात बताओ. How was the experience making the music for this film? I heard you have a couple of songs in this, right? So how was the experience?
The experience of working on Archies was really unique. The film is set in 1960s, so the music is all from the 60s, at least sounds like it's from the 60s. We're recording everything live. There are no sequence sounds. We're running some things to tape and recording it the old school way. There are a bunch of amazing musicians. Slowly we'll reveal who all are there. In the soundtrack, there's a lot of music. It's a musical.
Old school way, yeah. Trust me, मेरे को जानी जाना है, you know. So as a music director, music composer, you know, it's difficult going from 2022 back to 1960s. Was it difficult when you got to know about it?
It was not easy, I would say, but not difficult as well. I've always loved the music from the 60s. I've grown up on rock and roll. I love Elvis, I love the Beatles, so the sound is reminiscent of what the Beatles sounded like, what Elvis sounded like, what in India we were listening to Shammi Kapoor, moving to really amazing music.
So do we get that flavor in this?
We do.
Lovely, man. That is something I'm looking forward to now. So now, the moment you got the call, so very nostalgic Archies. We all have read the comics, you know.
बहुत ज़्यादा nostalgic. I've always fantasized about eating the food that I've seen in the comic books.
You've only fantasized about the book?
About the food,
yeah,
and about the music they were listening to. Archies was a band, so I would always imagine what kind of music were they playing. You would love to spend some time in Riverdale High, live that life, especially growing up in the 80s. It was a lot of fun reading those comics.
Absolutely, Ankur. We are actually looking forward to it. You know, now as you're telling me, I can actually get the vibe. of going back from 2022 to 1960s, reliving that music, and I really want to experience it. I'm sure everybody is really excited to hear that out. So I think I'll leave it to you now. Band is set, all yours. Let's have a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for Ankur.
So while we're setting this up, I'll also kind of introduce the band to you. That's Zoran, Mr. Magic Fingers on guitars. Big hand for him. That's Arya, singing harmonies and backing vocals. That's JJ on the drums. And that's Nathan on the bass. And the voice of Archie, Tejas Menon. This is the song that we have created for the film. A bunch of musicians play in different bands. We got together and we decided to write this song. Zoya ended up liking it and we've put it in the film. So hope you like it. This is the title song of the film. And whenever we're ready, right?
क्योंकि सीधे LA से लाइव ज्वाइन करने वाली हैं Zoya Akhtar. All right, can we have Zoya please? Hello Zoya.
Hello Anish, hello everybody.
Everybody is really excited. We've been talking a lot about the Archies and we've heard some songs also here. But Zoya, if I want to ask you, how does it feel to make the first ever Archie comic film? How excited are you for that?
I'm super excited because when I started doing it, I didn't realize it was the first one. And so now that I know that, subsequently when I realized it, I felt a lot more pressure on many reasons because A, it's the first one in the film. It's got a massive fan following, the comic. And also Riverdale had come out before that on Netflix and that's got a huge following. And the first feature, A, is coming out of India. B, I'm making it. So it was a bit, it's a little bit of pressure, so fingers crossed. Yeah, working harder.
All right, so it's set in a magical town called Riverdale. Tell us a little more about this town that you are creating.
So basically, when I was asked to do it, I was also asked that they wanted it to be, more like the old comic, more wholesome, more the reason why India was reading it and why we loved it. And I really thought about it and I said, I have to retain the essence and I have to retain the original, I have to retain the names and the original vibe of the comic, which is kind of Western, but at the same time set it in India. So we decided that we would put it into the Anglo-Indian community, which is a big part of our history, and set it in that community in the hills of India. So it's set there in a hill station called Riverdale. So it's a comic book, fictional, but it's rooted in India.
All right. Achha, this is one personal question, Zoya. They haven't given me, but I wanted to ask you that, if you have to if you had to cast me as one of the characters in Archies, what character do you think I would have suited? Totally your choice.
I think it'd be a regimental.
Everybody's got really excited in there. Girls and boys. I love you too. Thank you. Thank you so much, Zoya. So many of your films are about friendship. So tell us a little more about friendship you have explored in Archies.
So Archies is the pure ensemble, and it's got 7 kids, and it's the gang, and it's basically the interpersonal relationship with them. I'm obsessed with friendship movies. So it's about these 7 kids and their shenanigans, and actually the plot, which I don't want to reveal right now, but what they put together and do towards the end.
All right, I wish मैं जोया से और भी ज़्यादा डिटेल्स ले सकता, लेकिन I think let it be. हम ज़्यादा excited हैं उसको देखने के लिए, so we'll watch that there. But Zoya, there are so many lovely people out here in the audience right now, and we have a question for you, and this one is from Aditi Giri from the Times of India. Aditi ने एक question दिया है. She asked, there are several comic books out there. Why Archie Comics?
Well, that's the one that got offered to me. So, for starters, that's the one Netflix called me and Archie called me for. So, that's the first one. Also, Archie, because it's the comic that was closest to my heart when I was growing up. And it was the only comic book when I was a kid that was about kids.
Okay.
Everything else was superhero, but this was about regular teenagers. And I really liked that. It was about regular kid life, and I liked that. And it's what I grew up reading in the 80s. This was my childhood.
All right, lovely. We are really excited to relive the Archie comic. Thank you so much, Zoya, for joining us. And thank you.